No one expected that an ordinary afternoon, the kind where sunlight drapes itself lazily across the open fields and the breeze carries the faint sweetness of newly dried corn, would become the moment Two Diep had feared, avoided, and secretly longed for in equal measure. She had just finished watering the garden. Her hands were still damp with soil, her breath still steady from the rhythm of tending to the plants, when she heard it, footsteps behind her. Slow, careful, familiar in a way that made her pulse freeze mid-beat. She turned, and there he was. James, the man she had promised herself to forget. The man who vanished without a word, leaving behind only silence, rumors, and the kind of hollow ache that settles into the chest like an old injury. For a heartbeat she wondered if her mind was playing tricks on her, if fatigue had shaped a ghost from memory. But the sun caught the edges of his hair, touched the worn lines on his face, and revealed the truth. He was real, far too real, and far too changed. His clothes were simple, the kind worn by someone who labored rather than commanded. His hands, once smooth from a CEO's life of boardrooms and glass offices, were scratched, scarred, hardened. His face carried long shadows, the kind etched by nights without sleep and months of surviving battles she knew nothing about. It was as if he had lived several lifetimes in the time they had been apart. "Diep," he said softly. Her breath caught. That voice, gentle, deep, trembling, unlocked every door she had tried to nail shut. Every memory she had tried to bury. Every wound she tried to heal alone, but she didn't move toward him. She didn't whisper his name. Instead, the first emotion that rose in her chest wasn't longing. It was anger. "Why are you here?" Her voice wavered, but she lifted her chin. "Why now, James? After everything?" He lowered his gaze, ashamed, as if the ground beneath him had more courage than he did. "I didn't disappear because I wanted to," he murmured. "I left because I needed to protect you." The words crashed into her like a cold wave, the kind that drags you under before you can take a breath. Protect her? From what? From whom? She had spent endless nights blaming him, resenting him, interrogating her memories to understand how a man who claimed to love her could vanish. But standing in front of her now was someone unrecognizable, someone who had survived storms she had never seen. Suddenly she felt a new fear blooming in her chest. Fear of the truth, because the truth can heal. But the truth can also destroy. James stepped closer, not close enough to touch her, but close enough for her to see the exhaustion carved into his eyes. "Diep," he whispered, his voice cracking. "I need to tell you everything." The wind went still. Even the leaves held their breath, as if nature itself understood the gravity of what was coming. She had imagined this moment 1,000 times, imagined shouting, imagined crying, imagined slamming the door in his face, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared her for the truth he was about to reveal. The silence between them stretched thin, fragile, trembling, ready to snap. "Diep," he began, voice low, "everything that happened, it wasn't because of business troubles. It was because of my father." Her brow tightened. Confusion flashed across her face. "Your father? What does he have to do with you leaving me?" James swallowed hard, as if the words themselves resisted being spoken. "He's been hiding things he did years ago. And someone found out. Someone dangerous." A tremor ran through him. They wanted revenge. On him, on me, and on you. A chill ran up her spine. Suddenly, the months of silence from his mother, the tension lingering in every phone call, the unsettling shadows she had sensed but couldn't name, all of it rearranged itself into a terrifying picture. "Revenge?" she whispered. "James, what are you talking about?" He finally met her eyes, and she saw a pain inside him she had never witnessed before. "My father took land that wasn't his. He destroyed a family to build his empire. And the son of that family grew up with one purpose, to make us pay." Too Deep's breath hitched. "You mean? John?" The way she said the name felt like reopening an old wound. James nodded, slowly, heavily. "John," with his gentle smile that felt too polished. His persistence that felt a little too sharp. The peculiar way he seemed to appear in places he didn't belong. The puzzle pieces she had ignored suddenly snapped into place, forming an image she wished she had never seen. "He wanted to hurt me first," James continued, voice shaking. "But when he realized you were the person I cared about most, you became the real target." Her knees weakened. She braced herself against the wall, heart pounding violently. "So you left because of me?" she whispered. He hesitated, then let the truth fall from him like a confession from the edge of a cliff. "I left because staying meant putting you in danger. I left because I was scared. I left because loving you felt like signing your death sentence." Deep's throat tightened. The truth was too raw, too sharp, slicing through every emotion she had buried. Anger, love, betrayal, fear. They swirled inside her like a storm without a center. "If you were protecting me," she whispered, "then why does it still feel like you broke my heart?" James closed his eyes. "Because some truths," he whispered, "no matter how noble, still leave scars." Quote,